Hello, Meoni here, and welcome back to another short news video for Final Fantasy XIV. This, again, news straight from the live letter today, the 22nd of July 2020, and part 59 of the live letter had some really interesting stuff in it, as you've probably already seen from my summary, but one of the things was that there is actually the start of the new improved version of the Yokai Watch event, Gather One, Gather All. This will be taking place on August the 19th, and will last all the way up until patch 5.4. So a good couple of months at least, at the very least, I think. So this is actually obviously 1 week after the launch of patch 5.3 itself. So not too much longer to wait then. This comes as a whole string of other events is coming, as you can see from this timeline. We have the Moonfire Fair actually taking place the day after the patch goes live, with lots of new rewards that we haven't got a lodestone on yet, but I'll do a video on that when we do. We have the Rising on August the 27th, lasting until September the 10th, and we have a Make It Rain campaign in around late October to late November, depending, of course, on when they can fit this in. And they're also talking about running the Halloween event sometime in that period, and there's also news about the Regalia event, i.e. the Final Fantasy XV crossover coming back, which isn't penned in here either. So there's a lot of stuff happening, but it all pretty much kicks off with 5.3. Therefore the day after. The Yokai Watch event though, which is the primary reason I wanted to make this video, basically this time around, in addition to all of the old stuff that you can get, so there's basically a weapon for every single job in the game, and there was also a minion representing that as well, which of course meant there was quite a lot to collect. If you collected the majority of those, then you got a mount, and if you got all of them, then you would get a second mount. I am of course talking about Whisperer Go and Whisperer Go-Go, the glowy ghost mount that a lot of people are familiar with. And here's some slides of all of the old stuff as well, also making a return to this event, so you can go back and get these. Essentially it's fate grinding at the end of the day. If you're unfamiliar with this event, it's basically the same thing. They do say, however, because of the new additions we'll talk about in just a second, that they've reduced the amount of fates needed to actually complete the event. Now of course, if you're adding new weapons and new minions and new rewards in general, then obviously reducing the amount of fates you need to do is basically equidistant to how it was before. It's just now they've lowered it because there's more to do. So if that makes any sense, it's basically going to be the same kind of grind. It's going to take you quite a long time to do. So don't expect it to be something you do within a day. This took me about a week, if I remember correctly, and more casual players to the fate grind took more than 2 weeks, I believe. But at least you get about 2 months or so realistically to do this time around. So you might be asking, what are the new rewards other than the items you're showing on screen from last time? Well, there is of course a weapon for Gunbreaker on screen now. This is the concept art for that, which is really cool. You can actually see a representation of a minion there as well. They're based basically off Yokai Watch, which is a small anime in Japan, kind of like a kids anime. It teaches you morals and stuff, and they're all ghosts basically, or people that have, for example, there's a character that crosses a road and gets hit by a bus. It's trying to teach you how to look left and right, that sort of stuff, right? So it's not my cup of tea, but the weapons based on it are really kind of cool, and I like this crossover last time. So the Gunbreaker weapon looks quite plasticky, but in the game, here you go, this is what it looks like on the render. I quite like that. I quite like that indeed. It definitely would look better, I think, on something other than Lalafell, but that's just my own personal opinion. Next up, we have the samurai weapon, which has this beautiful sort of serpent sort of feel going off there with the eyes on the sheath. Looks really, really cool actually in the concept art. And this is what it looks like on the actual render. They try to actually make a character looking like that anime character as well. Looks really good. I quite like that. A lot of these weapons could be accused of looking too much like toys, but that's the source material it's based upon. We also, of course, have the Red Mage weapon. That's something else that we didn't have all those many years ago, which I personally agree looks quite nice. Again, there's the weapon in the game rendered as well. I probably would end up using that. It's quite nice actually. It's not too plasticky looking. Yeah, really cool. And then of course we have Dancer as well. So we get 4 of these new weapons in the game, obviously, because there's been 4 new jobs since the last time. And the Dancer one is pretty cool. It's kind of like a snowflake that's dark and mysterious. So if we see that one rendered as well, I love the purple there. Apparently they were umming and ahhing whether or not to put the face in the middle. A lot of these weapons have faces on them you might remember or have seen from the other pictures, so it's kind of cool that they went this way. I really like that one. It makes me want to think of pink and purple glamours to go with it on my dancer, so that's always a good thing. So the other thing to look at then is we have some brief previews that they briefly showed us of a few of these. Here we are of the Gunbreaker minion in the game. That's what it will look like. This is on Yoshi P's screen during the live letter. We don't have any better pictures, unfortunately, than this. We also have a couple others here as well. These minions are actually really tall. I know he's a Lalafell, but you can imagine how tall these are. They're about just over half the height of a Lalafell, which is quite big. The minions were always really big from this event, and of course, it does mean that you can get all the old ones as well. We're not showing them off here, but you know, you can watch my old video on that. I did guides on the Yokai Watch event last time, and that's still going to be relevant this time as well. So you might be wondering, other than essentially 4 new minions and 4 new weapons, Meoni, what else have they got cooked up for us? Well, indeed, in addition to the old mounts, so Whisper a Go and Whisper a Go-Go, we also have the Jibanyan mount. This is from completion of all of those weapons. And yeah, it's a flying sort of balloon cat. So, but Jibanyan, you might recognize, you can actually get a minion of this in the event as well. But this is a flying inflatable cat. There's no other way of describing it. I would question on how it's flying at this point, but I don't think we should really look into the you know, the reality of how this works. And for people complaining about immersion in the game, then we already have a lot worse stuff in the game than this. I think it's really cool. It's one hell of a reward, and what's not to love about a floating kitty, unless you're the sort of person that really doesn't like fun. But I personally love this. I'm looking forward to it. But that's pretty much the event, taking place again on August the 19th. All the way up until patch 5.4's release. So 1 week after 5.3 comes out on the 11th of August, we get access to this event. We grind for a bit, and basically you can do this casually because 5.4 is easily going to be a couple of months in the future. A lot of stuff's been delayed on Square Enix's side thanks to the human malware situation in real life. So you can imagine that a lot of stuff's been delayed, so we'll have plenty of time to take part in these events. There's a lot of stuff planned for 5.3, as if you've seen the live letter today, or my summary of it, it's absolutely packed with information, and I'm trying to separate it into separate videos here to give you bite-sized pieces of news. So hopefully you enjoy this sort of format. Hopefully, you know, you're enjoying this sort of content. Thank you kindly for watching. Let me know what you think about the new rewards, or if you're just happy to have the event back in general. I know a lot of people have been begging to see this back, but to have a revamped version with a new mount and lots of new minions and weapons is making me personally very happy for my collection. Thank you kindly for watching. Enjoy the rest of your night, and I'll see you all next time.